Hey everybody, good morning or good afternoon or happy 2 a.m. if that's when you're watching this. This is just a quick walkthrough video for our assignment for Monday, March 30th. This assignment is going to focus on the use of hyperbole in the poem As I Walked Out One Evening by W.H. Auden. All right. The first thing we're going to do is just review what exactly is hyperbole. So hyperbole is any exaggerated language or descriptions that are used for emphasis or effect. This is a type of figurative language, so it's over the top, it's not literal. And we have to be thinking about as we read this poem, why would W.H. Auden use hyperbole? How is he using it? For what effect? How is it changing the way that we think about something in the poem? How is it amplifying the main idea or theme? So really thinking about not just is he using it, but why, okay? So there are a few examples here just to make sure we all understand exactly what hyperbole is. So I've been waiting here for decades, right? Hopefully you have not been waiting anywhere for literally a decade, right? This is over the top language to emphasize that someone feels like they've been waiting somewhere for a long time and it's quite frustrating for them, okay? All right, so getting to the poem here, we're going to read this poem 3 times at least during this lesson. The first read here, just try to get the gist of the poem, just the main idea. Okay. So for each stanza here, you're going to read the stanza and then you're going to write a gist in your own words, what you think that stanza is about. Let's just do the first one here together. So, as I walked out one evening, walking down Bristol Street, the crowds upon the pavement were fields of harvest wheat. Okay. First 2 lines, I might just say, I walked out on the street, okay, Bristol Street, and there were crowds upon the pavement where fields of harvest wheat. Here, we've got a metaphor, right? The crowds out on the street, on the sidewalks, are being compared to a field of harvest wheat. So at the time of the harvest, the bounty, right? There's tons of wheat in the field. There's tons of people standing next to each other, almost in a group or a crowd, just like the wheat would be crowding a field during harvest time. Okay, so got a metaphor there. So we could say the streets were crowded with people like a field is crowded with wheat. All right, so there's a quick example for you, right? We've just reading the stanza here and then putting our own gist or paraphrasing, all right? So you guys can do that for the next couple of stanzas here. The second time you read through the poem, you're going to highlight examples of hyperbole. So you're looking for times when Auden is describing or using over-the-top figurative language to describe something or to tell us what's happening, okay? When you find those, you're going to highlight them blue, just like we've got here, okay? Once you're done with your first 2 reads, I just want you to put down here 1 or 2 quick sentences. What is this poem about? What's the main idea? What happens? Just kind of sum it all up after your first couple reads. Part 3 here is where we're going to dig a little bit deeper, not just what's happening in the poem, how is he using hyperbole, but why? What effect is the hyperbole having? So the first question here is asking, what's the effect of the hyperbole in the poem? Another way of thinking about this question would be, what would this poem be like if there was no hyperbole? How would that change our interpretation of it or the way we perceive it? So think about what the hyperbole adds to the poem, okay? The second question, how is the hyperbole adding to or emphasizing the main idea? So if you think about what the main idea or message or theme of the poem is, how's the hyperbole contributing to that? Okay. The last part of the lesson here is really fun. There's an audio recording here of Dylan Thomas, another famous poet, reading this poem. And if you listen to the whole thing, you'll see that the part of the poem we're reading is really just a first chunk of the poem. This is actually a longer poem with a couple different parts to it. And When you listen to the whole poem read by Dylan Thomas, you can really hear the musical rhyming of this poem. So it's kind of a fun, different experience than just reading the poem on the page. So go ahead and give the poem a listen and just take some notes or write some ideas about how listening to the poem added something to your understanding of the poem or changed the meaning of the poem maybe for you, or how a certain line maybe took on a different meaning when you actually heard it being read aloud. Okay. If you have any questions about the assignment, shoot me an email, message me on Remind, message me on Canvas. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day.